Getting on the dating apps after not dating for a very long time. Here's what you need to know about some of the mistakes that I made when I first started dating. I complain about the dating apps a lot, but I also had a lot of fun and met a lot of really great guys. And there is something fun and exciting about like getting dressed up and going on your first date. First, like feeling when you first see them and seeing if there's chemistry and your first kiss and all of that like is really exciting. But I definitely did a lot of things wrong. So I want to share some of those things with you so you don't do the same. I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl that has gone on a lot of dates and who's a little thick and weathered. I'm 53.
So let me get this straight. The woman who is 53 years of age, she is divorced in New York City, by the way, who has been relegated to the streets and dating applications, is here to give dating advice. I mean, guys, you cannot make this stuff up. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and on today's episode, we have a juicy one for you here today. We are once again returning to some clips from this woman right here, who you may recognize from our recent episodes, but this woman is 53 years of age. I think she had something like a 20-plus year marriage. I want to say it was 24 years or something like that. She decided to divorce her husband because she felt like it. Apparently her husband was a good man. You know, he paid for everything, it seems like. He bought the house. But of course, it wasn't enough for her. The streets were calling. So she decides to divorce him. She then makes some videos complaining that she no longer has a house and she has to rent an apartment in New York City and it's small and she doesn't like it. But on today's episode, guys, we're not talking about any of that. We are talking about her returning to dating, and now here she is giving dating advice for women. Now, I'm going to preface this episode, guys, by saying that I feel bad for the women who choose to listen to dating advice like this. You know what? Scratch that. I don't feel bad at all. This dating advice is horrible, and you shouldn't listen to it. So we're going to be jumping right in. Guys, don't forget to check out Matrix of Madness for sending in today's episode. I'm going to leave his channel linked in the pinned comment, and let's take a listen to what this woman has to tell us.
Getting on the dating apps after not dating for a very long time. Here's what you need to know about some of the mistakes that I made when I first started dating. I complain about the dating apps a lot, but I also had a lot of fun and met a lot of really great guys. And there is something fun and exciting about like getting dressed up and going on your first date. First, like feeling when you first see them and seeing if there's chemistry. And
right, so this woman essentially is addicted to hooking up with random dudes and meeting men for first dates. You know, if you want to go on a bunch of first dates and you want to treat dating applications like they're a career path, like they're some sort of marathon that you're supposed to continue to stay on, it's honestly none of my business, okay? But when women get on here and they talk about this, I'm not going to give them a medal, right? I don't find this to be impressive. It actually makes you look really quite bad to a lot of people if you're out here hooking up with all of these dudes. Now, do what it is that you wish. I don't give a damn, but don't expect a medal. Let's keep going.
Your first kiss and all of that like is really exciting. But I definitely did a lot of things wrong. So I want to share some of those things with you so you don't do the same. I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl that has gone on a lot of dates and who's a little thick and weathered. I'm 53.
Oh yeah, so there we go. Here are the stats, guys, right? 53, married for 24 years, divorced, on dating applications for 1.5 years. Now, guys, I have said this before, but any woman who struggles to find a man, let alone on dating applications, for this period of time, is just completely lost, man. These are not wife material people. These are not girlfriend material. These are for the streets material.
Is before the date. So there's different schools of thought on this, where you've matched with someone on the apps, you go back and forth a little bit, and then you skip straight to the date. And then I've had times where you match on the app, you go back and forth a lot, and then you skip to text, and it's a lot of texts. And then you even talk on the phone, and it's a number of phone conversations, and then you meet in person. I've done it both ways. I think it's better when you skip straight to the date. I think about the ones where we did text a bunch and there was a lot of build up and then we spoke on the phone a bunch and it seemed great. Those were the worst guys. Those were the worst guys. The story I have pinned to my account here, the guy who sent me the most terrifying sexy pic that you could ever imagine, injury invoking.
I love how when women share intimate details about their previous partners on the internet, it's totally fine. It's definitely not a crime, okay? But if you were to imagine a man doing this, guys, I mean, that stuff would be taken down immediately, okay? TikTok is one of those applications, guys, where if you have any sort of sensible thoughts, if you're a level-headed individual and you share your thoughts on that platform, you will get banned. Now, if you're a complete degenerate and you go on these applications and you share intimate dating stories with a bunch of different dudes, or you post yourself wearing questionable things, right? This is totally allowed to fly, right? We don't ban people for that, apparently, okay? But, go on there and try talking about anything else with any sort of sense, and good luck to you. Right? Go on TikTok, guys, and criticize the decision that a woman has made, and we'll see how long your account lasts over there on that platform.
A guy who we spoke on the phone a bunch of times, but he never told me that he lived with his wife. Another guy where we texted on and on and on, and we probably had 3 or 4 marathon phone conversations. And I got really excited about that guy, and we met in person, and there was nothing. Nothing. He rolled in like a completely different person. He was grumpy, in a bad mood, chewing gum, put the gum in a bowl on the table, was smoking a cigarette afterwards. I was kind of like, who are you? But I think it was just the chemistry didn't translate. So I could have saved myself hours and hours of phone conversations and text if I just skipped to the date. So
yeah, see, what this is really all about, by the way, guys, and this woman goes on to mention this in her other videos as well, is that none of these conversations, right, these hour-long conversations, you can be the most fantastic man on paper, right? You can say all of the right things and blah, blah, blah. But if you turn up on the date and you're shorter than the woman, or you're not as attractive as the other guy, then she doesn't care what you have to say. All of that connection that you think that you're building. I find it funny how liberally these women throw out the word connection. But I want you guys to understand that these women don't have connections to dudes that they don't find attractive. Okay? Or oftentimes when they get older and they're talking about connections, what they're really talking about is, I'm looking for a dude with a wallet. You see, guys, these women, what they do is they justify connecting to dudes who have things that they're looking for, right? If you're just some average guy, you're not as attractive to her, just watch how there will magically be no connection, right? But the guy who's a complete a-hole, but he's tall and he's attractive and all of these sorts of things, oh, there'll be a connection there. You see how this works, guys? The connection just goes to whoever she's attracted to.
I think if there's enough there, skip to the date. Just my opinion, based on a data set of probably, 15 dates, maybe 20. Yeah, she's been busy. A couple of other things that I would do pre-date. What I did do at the beginning was I met everyone across the street at the restaurant across from my building. I joke, that's where I brought all my victims. I'm not even going to count up how many victims I trotted out there. That's between me and the servers. But what
I mean, I would probably agree that they were victims, but hey, right? So this woman also, I don't think that she went on 15 to 20. I think it was probably well over this number of quote unquote dates. And bear in mind, guys, okay, this woman has been single for a couple of years, she says, after her divorce, and she's already seen a whole bunch of different guys. And of course, what are we doing with all of this quote unquote dating experience? Oh, well, you have to catalog it on TikTok. Now, I don't know about you, gentlemen, okay? But if I went on a date with a woman and then I find out afterwards that she's been cataloging our date to the public, that would honestly make me incredibly uncomfortable, okay? And this is the type of crap where, dudes with any sort of sense, particularly the older men who see this woman for exactly what she is, they don't want to date you. They don't want to take you seriously whatsoever.
What I realized is a bad idea, because if you're on the fence about somebody, it's like real tempting to invite them over. It definitely accelerate things with some of these guys where it was very convenient if you live right across the street. Don't make it convenient. Make it harder for yourself, especially if you're a boy crazy girl like I am. I would say the way that I kind of moved through my first batch of dates was very different from how I moved through the last few. On those, I met them farther away. I did not tell them where I lived. I didn't meet them across the street from my building and say, I live right there. Like, no, shut up. You don't know these people. What the fuck is wrong with me? The other thing that I did, and that I consistently did, and I recommend, is share your location. So share your location with one or more of your friends or a group of your friends. Send them a picture. Like, this is what I'm wearing. Just in case. You never know. What was she in? Where is she? What was she wearing? Like, I'm big. Nobody's going to pick me. I'm like almost 6 feet tall. I'm not small. You can't like stuff me into a van. But if you're like a big guy, you might if you have like a guy helping you. That's not even funny. But yeah, share your location.
Is it just me, man? Or whenever I hear these women talk about physical altercations with men, they always overestimate themselves. Oh, I'm not going to get kidnapped. You know, I'm almost 6 feet tall and I'm strong, right? No dude could get me into a van. I'm pretty sure a high school boy, you know, would have an easy time stuffing you into a van. Okay? These women grossly overestimate their physical abilities versus a dude, right? I'm pretty sure there's been memes about this crap, guys, where you have like women's sports teams who get absolutely ruined by dudes who are in high school and things like this, okay? And I don't mean to say this to crap on women or to try and roast them or anything like that. Honestly, it's more of a safety thing, okay? You need to have an accurate idea of where you are. And let me tell you this, okay? If you think that you're not going to get kidnapped just because you're 5'11", you know, maybe you should think twice about that and actually take your safety a little bit more seriously. Okay, it's guys, these women are so clueless, man. Right? They're like, oh, I could beat a boy, or I'm so strong. You know, men would have a hard time kidnapping me. Let me tell you right now, they absolutely would not. Okay, they just wouldn't. Now, I don't want someone to kidnap people. I don't want dudes out here kidnapping women. That's cringe. I think women need to have a more healthy idea of how they actually compare to men. Okay? Because this stuff, it can't be safe walking around this damn delusional, you know?
Right, if you have like a guy helping you, that's not even funny. But yeah, share your location, send a picture to your friends. That's just what I did. Now let's skip to the date itself. You're on the date now, right? I implemented this rule later, and I wish I had implemented it sooner. I like to have fun. I'm a party girl. I'm fun. I'm social. I'm lively. And once I get into a good mood, and if I have a cocktail, I'm going to want to have another one. And then I might even want to have another one.
Woman, you are 53 years of age, and you're talking about being a party girl. I mean, you're supposed to have basically grandchildren, kind of. So you're in grandchildren territory, and you're sitting here talking about having cocktails and things. Like, what are you doing? 53 years of age, threw away her marriage of 24 years or whatever it was, and she says that she's a party girl. Now, guys, I just want to say this, okay? For the 3.5 women who watch this channel, if you ever describe yourself to a man and you sit there and your description of yourself is, I'm fun, I'm social, I'm lively, and I'm a party girl, you might as well have just said to that guy, hey, never make me your girlfriend, it's a bad idea. Okay, I'm telling you guys, so many of these women, you let them talk, and they essentially just tell on themselves, right? This woman is 53 years of age, divorced, is now giving dating advice on the internet, and she presents herself as a lively person who's very sociable, and she's a party girl now, and she's also boy crazy. But don't worry, guys, she has her rules on dates now. So let's listen to this rule that she's going to be talking about here.
Now let's skip to the date itself. You're on the date now, right? I implemented this rule later, and I wish I had implemented it sooner. I like to have fun. I'm a party girl. I'm fun. I'm social. I'm lively. And once I get into a good mood, and if I have a cocktail, I'm going to want to have another one. And then I might even want to have another one. What I started doing towards the end this year when I was on the apps, again, I'm not on the apps anymore, was 2-drink maximum. Do you remember, I forgot her name, millionaire matchmaker, Patty, whatever her name is? She used to say that. And I think there's a lot of validity to it because alcohol impairs your judgment. If you're like me and you're boy crazy, it also may it may take a guy who's like, to all of a sudden you might be like, I love you. It's like, no, you don't love him. It's the martini. It's the martini. You don't love him.
Is it just me, or the more some of these women talk, I kind of just realize that they're children, essentially? You know? Like, this person, if you were to try and mix this individual right here with the idea of responsibility or accountability, it just wouldn't really work, you know? There are some people, they get on these applications, they start talking, and the moment they say, like, they're 5 minutes into talking, right? And then they say, I'm divorced. You go, oh, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, some of these people, I swear, have never actually grown up. Okay, they're still just children, essentially. And they don't have any idea what the hell they're doing. They're just living on impulses. They're doing whatever it is that they feel like. And they end up making TikTok videos like this, guys, that really showcase, I think, a lot of the reason why men are opting out of dating.
All of a sudden you might be
like, guys, if you were to marry this woman and for a long, you were with this woman for a long period of time, and you walk out the other end of that relationship, that was probably not going to be a good experience for you. You see what I'm saying? But let's continue.
Who's like, to all of a sudden you might be like, I love you. It's like, no, you don't love him. It's the martini. It's the martini. You don't love him. No, put the cup down, drink water. Drink water. So 2-drink maximum, if that. If you're a lightweight, just one, or just drink a soda. I don't know. I wouldn't just drink a soda, but so again, spare yourself if you're a boy crazy person like I am.
This woman has mentioned on 3 separate occasions during this single TikTok video here that she is boy crazy. Imagine seeing this as the ex-husband, by the way. Some things, guys, must just be, blessings in disguise, okay? This guy got a divorce after 24 years. I believe she initiated the divorce, of course, guys, as is usually the case. Women are the ones who are out here initiating the divorces way more than men are. But imagine you're the ex-husband and you come across this video. You must really think that that's a kind of a silver lining as the husband, like, you get out of the marriage, everything's over, and you look at this video and you're like, wow, this woman's a nut job, right? So maybe that guy has a lot better of a life now, I would assume. But again, guys, this woman was complaining, by the way, when she divorced her husband. She also has kids as well. I think they're with the husband, though. And you guys know, whenever the kids end up with the husband, or the woman was unable to steal the house, even though she's been with him for a very long time, usually that means the woman is a complete nut job, okay? Because as we all know, the family courts are far more preferential towards the women, in that the women are the ones who usually end up with the children in these situations. So it kind of screams red flags, alarm bells, things like this to me, when the woman walks away with nothing, not even the kids. But she is, she's a crazy cat lady now, essentially, in New York City.
Person like I am. The other stuff, don't overshare. I had to be reminded multiple times, these are strangers. They don't know you, and you don't owe them anything. I was way too open and forthcoming about my whole life. I would talk about just everything, private details. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done any of those things. Hold your personal information a little closer to the vest.
This is coming from a woman, by the way, that has many of these TikTok videos posted publicly to the internet. Okay, it's not like this video has some sort of filter where it's set to people who are her friends only, or her followers, or anything like this. These are publicly available videos. So what you have here is you have a woman who's essentially saying, listen, keep your private information private, but at the same time, I'm going to share all of this on TikTok, I'm going to talk about my divorce on TikTok. I'm going to talk about my dating escapades on TikTok. I'm going to talk about the dating advice that I have. And let me just tell you this, right? If you're dating a guy or you're interested in a man, right, you want to make him a monogamous partner, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever it is, whatever language you want to use, right? You want to lock down that man. If he sees these TikTok videos and he has any self-respect at all, he's not going to want to take you seriously. Okay, and this is something that you can't really say as a guy because, you know, if you pass judgment on women, then apparently you're a terrible man, right? So men, of course, these days, we all know this, we're not really allowed to judge women. Even if you're a man considering getting into a relationship with one, you're not allowed to judge them whatsoever. You just have to accept them the way they are without saying crap. But let me just tell you this, okay? Any sensible dude who comes across these videos is going to judge you, and he's not going to want to date you. And that's just the way it is.
I was way too open and forthcoming about my whole life. I would talk about just everything, private details. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done any of those things. Hold your personal information a little closer to the vest and let it build. When you trust the person, then you trust them, and then you can open up and share things. That first date, you don't know them. Actually, this is too long, so I'm going to make this 2 parts. I'm sorry, guys. You can skip to the next one. This is still for the girls.
Still for the girls, right? So that whole video that we've just gone through just now is only one part of a 2-part video little series thing here of one particular thing that she's talking about. You know, I don't know how these women find this much time in the day to ramble and record these TikTok videos, right? I would feel like an idiot. If I was just recording myself with my phone, standing around in public talking about my divorce or something. I have never been divorced, guys. I don't think marriage is a good idea for men at all. I don't intend to get married. I think it's a giant scam. But I can't imagine walking around in public recording myself, you know, at 53 years of age. You've been divorced after 24 years, and I'm just walking around giving people dating advice. You know, I think I would have lost my marbles by then in order to be doing that. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, hey, don't forget to go and check out Matrix of Madness. I'm going to leave his channel linked in the pinned comment for sending me today's episode to cringe at. And as always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.